Hello, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this video. Thank you for joining me today. This is the card I have to share with you. Isn't it cute? It's a very simple little toadstools out in the woods. Just a very simple card. It can be used for all sorts of different occasions, which I like cards like that have a varied use. So let's make another one. We're going to be stamping. So let's get a piece of basic white cardstock, some scraps. I'm going to bring in my stamp set so you can see it. It's Happy Hedgehogs, and we've used this before. We're going to use this little sort of piece of foliage and then our little hedgehogs, and we're going to learn how to mask off, not our hedgehogs, little toadstools. We're going to mask off our toadstools so we can get that nice little clump here on this left right hand side of 3 toadstools. So the main reason we're going to learn how to mask off our toadstools, so we can then stamp and have different perspective in our card. So let's stamp our foliage first. So we're going to stamp in Memento Tuxedo Black, because we're going to colour in using the Stampin' Blend alcohol markers. So let's stamp and just give it a really good press down. Hold it. Make sure it has good contact with the paper. There we go. Lovely. Whoops, nearly dropped that. So now I'm going to stamp our little toadstools. Again, just going to stamp this one first, just here on the left. There we go. And then we're going to stamp again here on the right, like that. And then I want to mask this off, so I stamped this on some masking paper and then just fussy cut it, and I just keep my masks here in the front of my stamp case. And you're going to see we're just going to fit straight over our stamped image like that. I'm just going to protect everything that's underneath it. I'm just going to ink this up again. I do prefer to take my ink pad to my stamp for some reason. It just seems to work better for me. And now we can overlap our ink as stamps, and everything will be absolutely fine. So I'm going to move this along so you can look at that. Now it looks as if it's behind it. And I'm going to do the same again. And you can reuse these masks time and time again. There we go. So there we've got a line of masks. And I'm going to do actually one more on this side. So put this down. Just make sure you're just careful when you're laying your mask down that you cover your stamped image below. There we go. I'm going to cover most of this up. Just like that, and then take that away. There we go. Okay, so we have our little cluster there, and as I said, I'm just going to put this back in the front of my case. So close this up. Here we go. And then we're going to do some colouring. Where's my original gone? How can you lose something so easily? Oh, here it is. So I'm going to show you the colours here. I've got Mossy Meadow, I've got Old Olive here, Balmy Blue for the flowers, and the little centres are Daffodil Delight, and then I've got here Real Red, Crumb Cake, and a little bit of Ivory there. So I'm going to start to do my colouring, and I'll see you at the end. Okay, let's start to colour in our little images, and I'm going to start here with my florals, and I'm colouring in with my flowers using my balmy blue Stampin' Blend alcohol marker, so I'm going with the lightest colour and then the darkest, and just swapping around until I'm happy with the blend. And now you can see here I'm just adding some Mossy Meadow and Old Olive to the stems just to give a little shading into the leaves, going in with my darker colour and then the lighter colour. And you can see here now I'm just doing my toadstools, and I'm using some of my skin tone actually markers just to do the stalks. And here you can see going with my Mossy Meadow underneath, creating some shadow and then blending it out with my lighter colour, and just keep on faffing with it. And now here you can see I'm just adding a little bit more grass so that I can extend the image properly. And then we're going to go back and we're going to add a little colour to our butterfly with our Daffodil Delight. And here we're just doing our lovely little toadstools, and I'm using real red for this, and I'm going in with my lighter colour here first all over, and then and go with my darker marker and add a little bit of shadow here and there as needed. Okay, so I coloured in a little image and then I just cut it out using my trimmer, and I matted it onto some what do you call the stuff, Mossy Meadow cardstock, and I put a bit of adhesive foam sheet on the back for some dimension. Now I'm just going to use, I should have done this before but it'll still be fine, a little bit of stamping on the front here. And I'll show you, we're not even going to use a block. We're going to use balmy blue ink, which is the same colour as our flowers. Okay. We use the stamp set called Quiet Meadow, and we're just going to use these little splatters here. And I'm just going to ink up the stamp using my hands, and I'm going to stamp off 1, 2, and then we're just going to very gently just put a little bit here and there, always stamping off twice, but I really don't want it to be that strong. Well, there we go. I think that is as good as a feast. Whoops. So let's close up our ring pad. This one seems a little stiff. If they're stiff like that, if you just run a little candle wax over the runner, it will unstiffen it and make it run nicely. Same as you do for a stiff drawer. You know, if your drawer, if your drawer and the chest of drawers are sticking, just run a little bit of candle wax over the runner. Helps. Okay. So let's put that away, and we can start to assemble our card. Our card base before was Mossy Meadow. In this one here, as you can see, we matted on red. This time I'm doing the opposite side. I've got real red card base. So it's a standard A6 card base. That's an A4 sheet cut in half and then folded in half. And then I've got a piece here of basic white that measures 14.35 centimeters by 10. And this is going to be the insert, but all these measurements will be on my blog post, and the links to that can be found in the description box below. You'll also find the supply links and everything else there as well. Now I've got another piece of basic white, the same measurement, that I put through this Timber 3D embossing folder. And you can see here it gives it a really lovely texture. I don't know how well the camera will pick it up, but in real life it gives just that lovely texture. And I'm going to use some Tombow because I find it easier to use wet glue when I've got a textured piece. I'm not wanting to come out that well, but anyway. It's usually because I don't want to press hard enough, because I'm always so scared I'm going to splodge something. And most of the time it's user error. Okay, stick that down on our white. Then, because I said I've got some adhesive foam sheet, so all we have to do is take the backing off and plonk it down. Like that. And you could add some embellishments, but I just like, at the moment, it just seems to be liking the simple and easy look. So they're the two cards. Very, very similar, but just slightly different colorways. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd be grateful if you could give it a thumbs up so YouTube know. Oh, one final thing before I say all that blurb. I've got here a white gel pen. Now if you'll see on here, it looks like I went round my red little dots, my white dots perfectly. I didn't. I used the white pen here to bring back my white dots where I hadn't managed to perfectly get them, and I just went round like this. Forgot to say that. And this just brings back any white spots, any dots that you didn't get, and you can, if you want, you can just add a little highlight as well, like that. There we go. So now all my white dots are back, and it looks like I did perfect colouring when I didn't. So if you want, you'll find all my social media links in the description box below as well. So thank you again, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye.